Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa balokana koro ami bodo dukhi Kripa balokana Daya koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Bale Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Tava Kripa Bale Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Ha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Asvaru Bhata Yoga Shri Jiva Prabhu Lokanatha Bhata Yoga Shri Jiva Prabhu Lokanatha Daya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamaje Narottamaras Maje Narottamaras Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Daya Karo More Toma Bina Ke Dayalo Jagat Samsare Toma Bina Ke Dayalo Jagat Samsare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So Hare Krishna and welcome to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita class this morning. We continue in the Madhya Lila chapter 24, text 309. Right? Kshetrakya Atma Purusha Pradhanam Prakriti Striyam Kshetrakya Atma Purusha Pradhanam Prakriti Striyam Kshetrakya Atma Purusha Pradhanam Prakriti Striyam. Go word by word. Oh, yeah, please. Kshetrakya Atma Purusha Pradhanam Prakriti Striyam. Kshetrakya Atma Purusha Pradhanam Prakriti Striyam. Kshetrakya, the word Kshetrakya, Atma, the living entity, Purushaha, the enjoyer, Pradhanam, the chief, Prakritihi, the material nature, Striyam, in the feminine gender. Translation. The word Kshetrakya refers to the living entity, the enjoyer, the chief, and material nature. Purport. This is a quotation from the Svarga Varga 7 of the Ātmārāma dictionary. Text 310. I go just with the translation. The living entities are wandering in different species of life on different planets. But if by chance they get the association of a pure devotee, sadhu, they give up all other engagements and engage in the service of Lord Krishna. Text 311. I have thus explained 60 different meanings, and all of them aim at the service of Lord Krishna. After giving so many examples, that is the only meaning. Text 312. Now, due to your association, another meaning has awakened. It is due to your devotional service that these waves of meaning are arising. The word Atma refers to the living entity. Purport. Yeah. From Lord Brahma down to an insignificant ant, everyone is considered a living entity. Living entities are considered part of the Lord's marginal potency. All of them are kshetragya, knowers of the body. When they become nirgrantaha, or free, saintly persons, they engage in Lord Krishna's service. That is the 61st meaning of the verse. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Garamayam Narati Swabharantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vagishayasya vadhane lakshmiriyasya chavakshasi yasya te hridaye samvit tam rasimham aham bhaje pralada hridayaladam bhakta vityavidaram sharatindurachim vande parintravandanam harim. The word kshetragya refers to a living entity, the enjoyer, the chief, and material nature. So you have heard in the previous weeks already so many meanings of the Ātmārāma verse. That's the chapter we are in, explanations of the Ātmārāma verse. And I would like to read the actual Ātmārāma verse again, that we can have in mind. Sutta uvacha Ātmārāmascha munayo nyagranta apiyorukrame kurvantya haitukim bhaktim itam bhuta guno harihi. It's from the CC.Mad.24.309-311, 1st Canto, 7th chapter, verse 10. Sutta Goswami said, all different varieties of Ātmāramas, those who take pleasure in the Atma or spirit self, especially those established on the path of self-realization, though freed from all kinds of material bondage, desire to render unalloyed devotional service unto the personality of Godhead. This means that the Lord possesses transcendental qualities and therefore can attract everyone, including liberated souls. So in the purport to this verse from Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada already lists all the meanings of the different words of the verse. And that's the thing in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is a very complex language, as we know, compact, and there are so many meanings to different words. Of course, in every language there are, various meanings of certain terms and words, but Sanskrit is especially complex. It seems that in terms of cases, it has 64 even. In German language we have 4, for example. Cases relate to how persons, subjects and objects relate to each other in so many ways. So already, like a German language is complicated for many, and other languages maybe as well. So Sanskrit has, utmost complexity, and it's even said, like some people say you should study 14 years or 16 years or longer to master Sanskrit language. So it's quite something. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he already presented more than 60 meanings of this Ātmārāma verse. And simply the word Atma, because this is the very central term for me at least now in the when I will speak. And let's read what Srila Prabhupada lists here, the meaning, or different meanings of the word Atma. So Atma has 7 meanings, and first, Brahman, the absolute truth. Second, body. Third, mind. Fourth, endeavor. Fifth, endurance. Sixth, intelligence. And 7th, personal habits. So quite a variety of meanings of the word Atma. And we particularly relate, of course, to the Brahman aspect here in this Ātmārāma understanding, so that the soul in itself is a blissful being. This is one of our tasks, or like if not the main task of spiritual life, to reconnect to what we call our spiritual nature. We consider to think of ourselves as aham brahmasmi. I'm Brahman. in contrast to aham mameti, I am this body. Although Atma, interestingly, can refer to body. And maybe it's one verse that illustrates also the meaning of what is the bliss of the Brahma Bhuta platform, or the Atma Bhuta platform, we could say, is in Bhagavad Gita 1854, where it says, Brahma Bhuta prasanatma, na sochati, na kankchati, sama sarveshu bhuteshu, mad bhaktim labate param. So it describes if a person is prasana atma, means he is free from the influence of the material nature, the three modes of nature. So how does that look like? And there's na sochati na kankchati, that there's no more hankering or lamentation. It means practically this person has given up all expectations regarding the material nature or existence. Here's the word kshetragya is mentioned in the verse. It means that the soul is the knower not just of the body and also the Paramatma living in the body, but also, of course, of himself. Knowing what is actually the true nature of Atma. So that's what many spiritualists want to attain, this stage of blissful existence in the consciousness that I am an eternal spiritual being free from any material conditioning. And also on that level only true unity is possible. Also the verse 1845 in the Bhagavad Gita states that Sama sarveshu bhuteshu, because on that platform only one is on the level of Atma, understanding what is the self, one can see everyone else equally. And it says from there on, from this platform of spiritual vision, seeing yourself as the spiritual self you are, from there, mat bhaktim labate param, their bhakti or devotional service can truly start. Because Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that in order to serve the Supreme, one must be one with the Supreme. Which he explains, of course, it does not mean merging, because we hear it abundantly made clear that, of course, we don't try to merge in an impersonal existence with the Lord, but having attained our own Satchit Ananda existence, then we can meet Krishna on a transcendental platform, because Krishna has no relationship with the material nature whatsoever. So as long as a living entity is embodied by matter, of course we can, have some opportunities to approach Krishna, the Lord, but the true devotional service, as we understand it from the Shastra, is actually happening on the liberated platform. Also the rasas, as we know them, happen on the liberated platform. Because it's the basis. Liberation is the basis that there can be transcendental rasa in its essential sense. So this understanding of Atma is something, seems, if you hear it like that, seems to perhaps something far away, because it seems like we have to drop, of course, everything in terms of which is attached to us right now, and it seems not possible, right? We are connected to this body, to the conditions of the body, the tendencies and also activities of this body. Because we have a dharma on the material platform. Means something that is given to us like a calling. We also feel it like this. In this body we got to act. We have a task, we have a destiny, or we feel we have a calling, and we have desires that we want to fulfill. So there is we are kind of melted into the gross and subtle body by desires. So our consciousness is not just, we cannot just unplug it like this. So that's a whole process of spiritual awakening that goes gradual by performance of certain activities, which we call sadhana bhakti, but also by acting on the platform of spiritual understanding, but by performing also so many duties we have, roles, let's say profession, right? Everyone has some, and even if it's considered material, we got to do it. It's part of also one ashrama dharma, as we considered. which also connects with Sanatana Dharma in that sense that we see all our activities we want to dedicate to the Lord as much as possible, in the understanding He is also Kshetragya, Upadrashta Anumantacha, Bharta Bhakta Maheshwaraha, Paramatmeti Chapyokto, Dehismin Purusha Paraha. But in this body, He is the other transcendental enjoyer who knows the body. Knowing means being fully aware of everything that happens within this body. So we are just partially aware, but Paramatma is fully aware, like also in the depths of our mind. He knows our deepest thoughts, feelings, our consciousness He knows. We know only partially according to the level that we are awakened or in sattva. So that's something we got to do, and we can become more aware by trying to actively, in a service attitude, do the things we do for the pleasure of the Lord. Because in this way, if it's not self-centered in a sense, I do it for myself and I want the benefits from it, I want to enjoy for myself what I do, because then there can be detachment. As long as it's not a service, means it's for the sake of someone else, like also with people, but then ultimately to God, then it's always like it causes attachment. Right? It's like because I claim it. Attachment means claiming benefits, claiming results, claiming whatever, certain status, and whatever goes along with the activities we do, might be profession-wise or whatever. But if it's a service, let's say, I do this for you, Krishna, and my intention is to please you, which is the definition also of pure devotional service, then I less and less claim that what I have as a body or the results, and this leads to detachment. So Krishna will bless that, our service, based on like how strong our service attitude is, like means how selfless we are, and with affection and love give that what we give. So because then there's satisfaction. Because it's a deeper understanding, Atma is not just, it's a spiritual blissful existence. Of course, Atma itself is by nature, because it's transcendental and Sat, eternal, without time, without fear, so without distress, Chit, full of consciousness, then Ananda. So it is already a blissful existence, but this is not it. It's not the last word, as like many impersonalists tend to think, that we say, if I'm self-realized, means I understand I'm Brahman, and then I just dwell in myself, self-satisfied. That's a possibility. Yogis can do that, or also jnanis as we know them. But what is highlighted in the Ātmārāma verse, or in the meanings, is that there's more to it, that the actual blissful existence is intrinsically connected with our dharma, or like our what Krishna designed us for. And that is to be in relationship with Him and enjoy the loving exchange. Because the spiritual nature is rather the basis on which we can approach Krishna and serve and have relationship with Him. So in that sense, that the self experiences true bliss and experiences its true meaning. We experience also in material life our meaning in the world through the activities and the relationships we have. If you have no meaningful activities, it might be, of course, professional, it might be otherwise in our life itself. And if you would have no relationships in terms of friendships, family, love, and whatever, life would be meaningless to us. And many people struggle nowadays with this because they're like hardly connected to anyone out of various reasons, feel very alone, lonesome, which is a suffering in itself. And also, perhaps being not able to work something meaningful or do something meaningful, they feel my life has no purpose, and they tend to be suicidal and take their own lives in cases, because it makes depressed. So it's very important to understand this reflects also something deeper about the spiritual nature of the self. It is, although it is not, dependent, so to speak, in its existence on activities and relationship. On a spiritual platform, of course, it can exist. We can exist and be blissful. But there is something in us intrinsic to our nature that actually feels attracted to the Supreme Lord, to the Supreme Being, which is our origin, and wants to be in exchange, be in relationship, relate to that. And therefore Krishna attracts also liberated souls. That's what it said. Right? That why is this happening? Because that's the actual intrinsic nature of the self. Atma means the self in relationship to Krishna. So Krishna is the supreme full being, which is in terms of qualities, limitless. He's called Vibhu. There's no end to the qualities, the transcendental qualities and the activities. So there's abundant, endless, blissful opportunities which are so amazing. Even Krishna himself sees no end or doesn't understand himself fully. So what to speak of an Atma or a self that is able to perceive such supreme, blissful being, naturally it will be attracted. And there are many stories in the Bhagavatam how Brahman realized souls became attracted to the Lord. And the foremost, the 4 Kumaras, right, which were Brahmavadis, being self-realized souls, and through the smell of tulasi leaves offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, they became attracted. But there are many other ways. Because, that seems to be, or not seems to be, that is in fact what the living entity is meant for. And all the philosophy we have, all the practices we do, shall lead us gradually actually to this consciousness or this understanding, so that we become conscious servants of the Lord. And servant, although the term might be based on material experiences, maybe sometimes problematic, because people feel it has a ring to it, I'm kind of inferior, I'm being used, or just maybe it tends to be kind of slave-like, or just being exploited, whatever. No, but servant in the spiritual sense means it's giving yourself and being actually fully rewarded in return. Previously, when it was my turn to give a class, we talked about how actually Krishna is in return our biggest servant. It's not one-sided. No, I serve, and what do I get? But actually, our very existence, that we can exist in this world, is a service of the Lord to us. If you look at the Shrishti Lila, the pastime of creation, in its detail, so many things are done by so many forms of the Lord simply to facilitate what we have now, an existence within a body. Now we have a human body. We have been already to higher planetary systems, lower planetary systems. So many desires of us have been facilitated already, because that's also our nature. We want to experience activities and relationships. That's just the most natural thing. We are not just unconscious or passive beings. The soul or Atma is alive, it's vibrant, it's a living force. So that's actually nature. So the spirituality that aims at simply the cessation of material existence is only a partial understanding. Because of course, compared to a life of struggle in this world, a liberated state of I just exist blissfully, no pressure of anything, of any kind, and simply blissful existence without time, yes, that's a very attractive, of course, idea. So, but it hasn't taken into account yet that still also the Atma has a need for activity. And this is what Srila Prabhupada all the time also argues, that this state cannot be maintained for a long time. Either the liberated souls, particularly if they're impersonalists and think there is no Supreme Lord, they have to get back to a platform of activity, Therefore he says Mayavadis and also the impersonalists who say everything is illusion, they still have to come back to the illusion and act, but then in some welfare, humanitarian way, for example, open hospitals or whatever. Because it's the nature of the self to act, to interact, and to enjoy interaction. We also see if we can, let's say friendship, if you have a true friend or partner, and what you experience there, if it's a really positive relationship, of course, if it's a struggle, it's not what I mean. But then you see that's something that gives you fulfillment and it gives meaning to your existence. And that's what is the material world is a reflection of the spiritual world as we understand it. And so this is an important part of self-realization. And talking about relationships and exchange, the verse 210 says the living entities are wandering in different species of life in different planets, but if by chance they get the association of a pure devotee, they give up all other engagements and engage in the service of Lord Krishna. So that's the ultimate relationship actually in this spiritual material world. The pure devotee, or like otherwise graduation, I would say in terms of graduation downwards, people who are at least like-minded, or like, who are interested in spiritual advancement. That's the best association. Because people are not interested in spiritual advancement at all, they will just distract. I mean, you can give association, as we say, by trying to influence positively, but it's important to choose one's association consciously and carefully. So in order to stay motivated and supported in one's own spiritual progress. And that might sometimes mean you rather have no association than bad association. Right? Stay for yourself and be absorbed as much as possible. Yes, and in 311, he also, what happens here, the explanation of the Ātmārāma verse from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to whom is he actually speaking? Is he here right to the Rupa and Sanatan? Sanatan Goswami. This is exactly that. This is type of exchange. And Sanatan Goswami, for example, here, they relish this bliss of being instructed by the Lord. It's they also simply consider themselves tools of the Lord's service, and Krishna instructed them to spread and develop devotional service so that others can benefit. Or also they were supposed to find holy places and so on. So that gives our life meaning. Another word I wanted to say regarding the relationship and association, and seeing everyone as spiritual selves, as Atma. Maybe later we can exchange a bit what your experiences are with that, like how can I come to the point where I truly experience people that I meet as this is also a soul in a type of body, equal in nature to me, equal as an Atma, equal in the eyes of the Lord. And so I can appreciate everyone as spiritual being actually. People usually relate easier to animals, for example, because the relationship is not so difficult, or the possible agitation is not so possible. So I just want to share a bit of experience how I feel I can manage that to some degree in my work. Since I work with people as a therapist, there is a expectation, of course, on me to treat everyone equally in regards to, of course, same attitude, like I get a, assignment practically, there's a goal, people have certain issues, and to the best of my ability, I serve, right? And independent of whether I like this person or don't like this person. So it's about in a professional way, providing to the best of my ability a support. no matter, what the particular character or nature of the person in front of me is. And that's often a challenge in normal daily life. We are very much influenced by the, you say this in English also, sympathy and antipathy, and like being sympathetic to someone, and then the contrary is what? Antipathetic, sympathetic? Antagonistic, perhaps? Yeah, but you know what I mean. These are like, you like or dislike things. And what you learn is, though, if you practice not to be too much impressed by first impressions, that can open the way to connect deeper to a person. We always say, of course, first impressions matter, and yes, they do, because we tend to define a person very much, perhaps, by the first few things we experience of him or her. What we don't consider is, like, we just see a small fragment in a certain time. We don't know, therefore, everything about this person and why in this moment he or she is like that, acts like that, speaks like that. So this actually can turn out that the first impressions and projections that go on are not truly the, how these people are. So it takes sometimes time that someone also, can trust someone else. Because, for example, behaviors can be based on defense, feeling maybe insecure or being ambivalent. Do I want that or do I don't want that? And based on that, like, certain behaviors are shown, or a certain style of clothes to reflect something. But behind that can be something else. So if you learn to not just immediately like take everything, on face value, as you say, but say, okay, I perceive this and this and that, but let me wait till that I know more. And connect. And sometimes you see that actually behind so many external layers in terms of how a person physically appears, but also in terms of behavior, behind that can be really something else. So we shouldn't take it for granted that what we see, what is presented to us, that's the ultimate reality. It's more like something that is, externalized or presented to us. So then it's worth it to try to be open to learn about another person, and to also put aside like certain impressions and say, okay, I have this impression, and put it aside. Okay, what else is there? What else is there? And then that helps to enter deeper into a connection. And the more we connect with people, then the more we understand them and see them, and then we also see our unity. Because we often then we see there's so many behind all this, or besides all the external differences, we are really the same. We go through the same things, same type of experience, happiness and distress. Though the facets of what happiness and distress is for us might be different, but the core experience is the same. We all experience the same thing because it's the same world, we have the same type of body, senses, mind, and the interactions are the same. So therefore it's not like that we all live in completely subjective worlds, and what is happiness for you is something completely different from me, and suffering for you something completely different from me. It's not true. That's also some of these illusions. We think no one feels how I feel. No, plenty of people feel how you feel. Just right now, perhaps you don't meet someone who can relate to what's going on for you, right? And then you think, no one can understand or relate to. So it sometimes might be difficult, but it's not that what you go through is something so unique no one else knows. Not true. In essence, if you really connect and open at some point and you find someone to exchange yourself with, we know that in the essence, our experience of material life is the same. But the intensity varies according to our karma. Right? So, but it's something we can learn if we follow a certain, way of trying to be, let's call it professional also, like if it's in preaching, right? You approach people and you try not to look at a dress. the external appearance. How does someone come to you? Try to see this is also a creature of the Lord. Ātmārāma Yeah, this is also how to say, soul in a certain body sent by the Lord. And yeah, let me try to meet on that level. So it's a challenge because, of course, we respond very much to also appearances of others. But yeah, I think this is one task that is given to us to try to look beyond that, to go deeper, to be not too impressed by first impressions. Okay, I will stop here and see whether there are comments, questions from your side. I think we got to take the microphone. I'm not sure if it's working.
The 310 verse mentions that when these souls, conditioned souls, they meet pure devotee, they also become attracted to this path, and they leave their materialistic activities. But not everybody. Only actually a very limited number of souls who change their lives and are apparently influenced by association of pure devotee. Maybe you can comment.
Well, yeah, it's like, I think the metaphors also given in the New Testament illustrate that in a good way, like similar, like the sun may shine or rain may fall, but if the land or plant, whatever it falls on, is receptive, is another story, or approachable. Sometimes in the metaphors in the New Testament say like a certain type of ground has different responses to rain. Rain is always the same and it just spreads. But also we have the example, think, so if the sun shines, but if you put yourself in the shadow, the sun cannot affect you in terms of, giving you warmth and so on. So it relates to my understanding that also there is an intrinsic desire somehow for spiritual life. As long as it's not there, Krishna also respects that. He also does not force anyone to awaken if you want to sleep. So the pure devotee, in my understanding, also Srila Prabhupada, he met so many people, and not everyone, of course, responded with, surrender and appreciation and like, yeah, let me follow you. Some became very critical and like, and didn't at all feel like, I want to do this, I want to be a Krishna conscious devotee. So I think it has to do with whether or not, also, it's in the Bhagavad Gita also it says, those who practice pure devotional service in this life and previous lives, they have already acted piously. So there's also credits from the previous life that determine whether, if someone crosses your path, like a pure devotee, whether you have the right, mindset, right, to recognize this opportunity. So I think it's there, like similar, like the sun might be there, but it's also about people entering the sun. That's how I understand it.
Of course, there's even many more aspects to it, but it was nice.
May I share some thoughts on this also? I was also thinking, having exactly the same question actually, but then I was thinking that actually we know that wherever pure devotee goes, he's putting many seeds, right? And he's like, pure devotee never goes somewhere and doesn't benefit the people and living entities who are around. So maybe in this life they wouldn't change anything don't see that what is happening
Mhm.
later. And also we know that we are actually sitting here because many saints were coming in touch with us. So I was thinking of this example that Prabhupada made, like when you're starting with some devotional service, it could be just a favorable glance at pure devotee, then like the plug of the fan is plugged out and the material life is finished. Maybe it takes a long time till your material actions are really finishing, but this statement must be true, that if you're coming in contact with the pure devotee at one point, you will give up all material activities. Because also like on book distribution, if they just read a word, they will be eternally benefited. What does it mean? If you're then still eternally conditioned, it wouldn't be eternal benefit. So maybe we can understand this in this way.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many, influences we don't perceive, but they happen. And yes, there's also, agyata sukriti, as we know, things being done without intent, but they're pious, or like spiritually beneficial. Yeah, but also the verses, sometimes, of course, they're a bit more, condensed, like get the association of a pure devotee. We could also argue, okay, what is meant by association? Is association already you pass by? Or is association a conscious, rather, exchange? Where you maybe consciously listen what the person has to say and try to absorb it, or, but of course, it's already like the presence, of the pure devotee is, is an influence, and irrevocable influence. Yeah.
Yeah, there are contradictory statements. Not sure Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati says also association you only take if you're listening to this person carefully and heartfelt, and then you're actually acting on their words and so on. But there is also, I think in CC, this verse that it says that even if you're associating with a devotee a fraction of a second, that's more beneficial than a life on heavenly planets. So what can you exchange in a fraction of a second?
Mm-hmm. I mean, to some degree, I also understand that sometimes Shastra, or like also Srila Prabhupada did, let's say more also of a bit of a motivational kind of strategy, is also highlight the value of something, that it becomes really appealing, that there's hope, that there's motivation, even this little bit, depending where you stand, but also in contrast to a second of this is already maybe beneficial, saves you from hell, whatever it is, But I think it's very important we understand that our conscious effort is that what is primarily wanted. Of course, passively we can also have benefits, but as you said with Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur, that because if it's also your choice, the more your choice is involved in actively engaging in a relationship, this mainly shiksha is such an essential thing, that this will activate a lot of your own spiritual, awakening. While, of course, we say also, we read on the books, even if they touch a book and so on, they will have benefit, right? Yeah. But I think it's also important to consider that in different, contexts, and some things also Prabhupada said. Also, I think it's motivational as well. Shouldn't give maybe, how to say that without sounding like a blasphemer. Maybe it's already, Mm-hmm.
Another thought on the same, that this association. Oh yeah, this famous verse, and even a moment's association of pure devotee is more valuable than liberation or residing on heavenly planets. But this association of pure devotee could also be taken even to the more distant. For example, even if somebody doesn't get a association of pure devotee in form of the book of Srila Prabhupada, let's say, but Srila Prabhupada instructs his disciples and followers, for example, this is how you offer food to Krishna, it becomes prasadam, now you go and distribute prasadam to the people, and people who, for example, take that prasadam from the disciple of pure devotee, you could also say they are getting association of pure devotee. It seems like it's not wrong to understand it in that way as well.
It's a principle of, also of disciplic succession, right? Yeah, if an instruction or like a procedure given by a pure devotee is followed properly, it's like, the purity of that is being transported. Yeah.
Once you were mentioning that Krishna has no relationship with the material nature, and of course in one sense it's true because he's not influenced by material nature, but on the other hand is his own energy. So how can we understand this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a tricky one. This is like what the Shastras say, and it's kind of a paradox. If he is truly, the owner of all energies, everything emanates from him, and he actually is like the one who has the say. How can we argue that he has no relationship with the material energy? And he, what he does is he makes it clever. He, assigns different his expansions to deal with the material nature, without he being directly involved. Probably we could say it's a very indirect relationship, if at all. But he's not in touch. Also, the Brahma Samhita describes in a really good way how the Vishnu avatars, which are already expansions of the expansion, we even Mahavishnu, who is the one who actually manifests the material energy, right? The Karanodakasya Vishnu on the Karana ocean, which is the Vairaj, or like the borderline between material and spiritual worlds. He actually said manifests from the Brahman, what we call Mahatattva. He makes, so to say, the cloud in the spiritual sky. At the same time, he says, like, even he is like, Schweben, I don't know, he's like kind of, what's the word? Floating above, and there's no touch. And also his glands, he said, he himself is not getting touched, but the glands fulfills the function. And there are like few energies. There's Ramadevi, which is called Yogamaya, or it relates to Yogamaya, who then affect, or like Kala Shakti, the time energy, and they affect the Mahatattva, and they make the whole thing that it manifests. So actually, through agents assign to other agents the whole thing that happens in the material world, and so Krishna's kind of out of it. All his other avatars and so on, they deal with the material nature, but he himself, right? Yeah, as the Paramatma. So it's what is this partial expansion. At the same time, that's our achintya beda tattva. This kind of achintya is like the key term. It's not to be understood fully because it's too contradictory sometimes. But it's I think what can be understood is that he keeps his distance, and the material energy also keeps his distance. It said also in the Brahma Samhita that Maya Devi is very much ashamed and remains at a distance to the Lord, because she keeps the conditioned souls in ignorance, like, but she's aware, she's the servant of the Lord, she acts on his behalf. Right? Her assignment to keep us in illusion comes from him. Because we have certain desires. So she's not like the evil, how to say, counterpart or something of the Lord or something. No, she's also his servant, his energy. Yeah. But it's clearly said, I think why this is also so highlighted is that we always understand Krishna is never in touch, he's also never influenced or affected by material energies, and that we never get the idea that like there's anything kind of material or materially affected within Krishna. But this is energy of his is like, how to say, managed by his avatars and the agents of the avatars, the energies. Mm-hmm.
Was crying, and various other pastimes where Krishna exhibited very human-like behavior, and not just to put on a fake drama, but to actually be experienced. This is described.
Yeah, of course, went through my mind. Yeah, the other thing is when he manifests also Goloka or Gokula, this is described. Gokula, it is said, when it's manifest in the material world, and in the spiritual world, it's Goloka. But this again gets into the mystery of transcendental vision. You know, like how these energies truly relate. Because I think our mind cannot accommodate this. How can this separation of these two energies happen if they appear to be so intertwined? Right? But I guess we have to mature into that, and at some point it will be revealed to us with the proper mindset.
I think the confusion comes because we can only think of being like present at one place at one moment. This and Krishna is actually present everywhere, and we can be completely detached or disconnected to something, but still be there, and that's something that is really not conceivable. Can be like so different personalities doing different things at the same time.
Yeah, it comes to the Vibhu and Anu aspect. Yeah, we are tiny and limited, but he's unlimited. Even this we cannot understand. How can someone or something be unlimited? It's yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Sri Prabhupada ki jai.
We usually have this YouTube channel, right? And where we have all our lectures. And nowadays I'm always putting
maintain my health at that time because many people get sick everywhere. So I feel my throat is a bit,
Yeah.
otherwise good.
Okay.
You're really
Yes.
a lot of service, huh?
Yes, it's a never-ending service.
It's just like, how to say, rearranging, throwing out stuff that's new, or just putting in order
Everything.
everything. Huh?
Yeah. And we have to clean it. We will clean it. But, yeah.
Thank you.
I don't like plastic, so I took these organza bags, so maybe they will be okay.
Well, it's not, because recently we talked about it, how actually plastic, because in the Bhagavatam, knows the 5th canto, there's descriptions of the materials and the heavenly planets and so on, and how Prabhupada criticized also the plastic jewelry of...
Maybe one day. Some people are attached to this plastic.
Yeah, ideally I like to have crystals or like metals that are just naturally, but...
Yeah, this is, maybe this, this one is okay, but the other ones are plastic, real plastic, what you can see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but little by little. You can't change everything.
Yeah.
And everything is always getting dirty because of this smoke.
Oh yeah,
ghee.
okay. Yeah, it's true, you have to... Yeah, it's always something to do.
Yes. Yeah. So, otherwise you're working and everything is good?
It's actually pretty regular, same thing, I'm in the same place, same clinic, things go... I mean, I expanded a bit. I also did now, like since I did the whole training, it's called Poetry and Bibliotherapy. It's about creative writing, it's about literature and language.
That's nice.
So I do some extra stuff, some writing workshops, seminars. So I expanded a bit in this regard. But in general, like, it's kind of, I have my same kind of setting.
Okay.
It's good. I need it, I like it.
You like stability.
Mm-hmm. For you studied your masters, I saw in Lucerne, where do you study? Like in
it's online, so.
Yeah.
But yes, it's at the University of Lucerne. Yes, it's philosophy of religion.
I was there. I was not master in. I thought in how you say Rechtswissenschaften, Jura. No, was not. It's like philosophy and science.
Okay. No, it's not that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, first
It's
I was thinking
like
it's about law, but no, it was not. No.
No, I don't know.
That is like this is behind you.
Yeah, this is theological university. University of Theology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you have a master's.
So I'm learning about God. I've been learning about God. I'm learning philosophies in the world, like the concept of God and many other things, which is interesting, sometimes boring, but sometimes interesting also. Yeah, it's okay. I wanted to do something more.
At some point, if you have that, you can maybe teach, because usually this type of subject matters, if you study them, either you become an author or you teach, right? Kind of like this.
I would like to go to do a PhD one day also. So I thought I would be the oldest one, but I'm not. Everyone is like working, or there's even one guy, he's like 70, I would say. So, quite okay. But anyway, I see them rarely, and if I see them, it's online. So we have only one, some kind of conference that is for 7 days, and then we will meet. But that's next year in, I think, summer or something. Yeah. But it's okay, because I can then just continue with my search and just study.
Cool. Yeah. Much success with that.
Thanks.
Because it's a lot of learning, right? You have put a lot of information in your brain.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So see you. Haribol.